Let's go back out to Channel 11's Nicole Ford. She is just a couple of blocks away from that scene. You've been talking to some of the witnesses. I understand you just talked to somebody else who lived right nearby.
That's right, Gordon. We just talked to a man who's on the phone with his daughter, who literally is the house backed up to the house where this gunfire is coming from. It's right down the street, about 2 blocks from where we're standing. We're hearing that active gunfire. He's on the phone with his daughter as police are trying to get to her. She says that once that door opened, the suspect inside that home had a military-style long gun and was just firing repeatedly at police. While he was talking to us, police actually said they had just gotten his daughter, and he ran across the street down Penn Avenue to get to safety in order to get her. He said he's never heard of anything like this happening in his neighborhood, and he's just a terrified father standing 2 blocks from where his daughter is, just worried about her safety as he's hearing both the gunfire in person as well as through the phone while he's talking to his daughter.
And Nicole, we really want to emphasize that people should be avoiding that area. This is a really busy area. Tell us about all of the businesses nearby, and what are you seeing in terms of just pedestrians, people kind of trying to figure out what's going on?
Liz, absolutely. I mean, this is a main thoroughfare through Garfield. You actually can see since our last live shot that crime scene tape was put up as officers are trying to block off this area to keep everyone at a safe distance from this active gunfire. But you can see just around this intersection, people gathered everywhere coming out of these businesses. You have hair salons, food shops, people sitting on their balconies of their apartments just trying to figure out what's going on in their neighborhoods, saying that this is so unusual for this part of town and just want to make sure that everyone they know and love is safe at a distance, as well as police as they're working to try to get the suspect.
And Nicole, do you see any more police or SWAT teams arriving on scene at your location?
Absolutely, Gordon. It's about every 10 seconds. There's more officers coming down the street. I've seen people in state police vests, FBI vests, county SWAT actually just went down the hill maybe about 15 minutes ago. About every corner from where we're standing, even in the cemetery, I can see Pittsburgh police officers. So it's a constantly evolving situation as more and more officers are arriving on this scene.
And Nicole, we understand we now have that soundbite pulled up. That father you talked to who said he was on the phone with his daughter who's in the house right nearby. Let's listen in on that soundbite.
You hear the gunshot, look. You okay, baby? All right, yeah. Lock the door, close the door in this. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
What's she saying?
Yeah, what's she saying?
Madeline, what are you seeing, baby?
The shooter, show her you're with the cop. I'm with the cop.
Oh, she's with the police officer.
Good. Good.
As you can hear, as we were talking to him, you can hear that active gunfire happening right after that point when she said she was with the cops. The other officers right here at this corner actually took him and they went running down towards Millville Avenue, the next block that way, saying that they safely had his daughter. So he was running in that direction to reunite with her. But again, as we were talking to him, you could just hear the terror in his voice, knowing that he was a father 2 blocks away and he couldn't help his daughter, who's hearing and seeing all of this firsthand through the window, wondering what's going to happen to her until those officers got there safely.
Did his aunt or any other family members give any indication during the trial that he might do something like this?
If I can recall from her testimony, as well as some of the other family members' testimony, they didn't recall him ever talking about his hatred to Jews. I believe his aunt said at one point she does remember him talking about immigration in the caravan, but nothing to the extent that was seen on his Gab account or some of the things that he said to officers back in 2018. So she genuinely seemed surprised on the stand at what crimes he had committed. Well, David, Lisa, in the last hour or so, the wind has picked up and we've started to see a lot of personal belongings being thrown throughout this area. I mean, this is just a calendar that I'm sure most people at home can imagine it in their kitchen. If you take a look, there's really, truly nothing left here. You can see family and friends just going through this area Right around 5 o'clock, we actually saw them pull that wheelchair, mangled pieces of metal out of that foundation. They're walking around picking up pieces of paper that have medical records, just personal information. Now, if you look over here, this is Mary's home. She lives across the street. She tells me that she could feel all of that debris as it hit her roof. She heard all the shattering of glass. If you look at her yard, you can just see pieces of the roof just litter the area. And then this piece of plywood, she says, came flying through the air, thud, hitting her wind chime, breaking the lantern. But this is only the beginning of the damage to her home.
The window blew through. The glass is like all over the place over there, and the windows are all sort of off track. And then the garage, I just found out the garage door will not open, so it's all sort of off track, and I can't get my car out.
Now, again, these are just some of the initial feelings from some of these neighbors, including Mary, who says she's still in shock that she really can't even put into words how she feels. She knows as she looks out her window and sees that her beloved neighbor's home is gone, them with it. She said she just right now it's gonna take time before she's able to recover from all of this. North Braddock police officers face violence every day, bullet holes even hitting their vehicles. But soon you may see less of these cars on the street as Borough Council just voted to not renew the police chief's contract. And signs around town say if he goes, we all go. In North Braddock, signs are starting to line the blocks.
What are we gonna do? Leave us with one police? What he gonna do? They'll stomp him. You think they scared of that one cop?
Carlotta Dukes is outraged that her council voted not to renew Police Chief Isaac Donnelly's contract after 13 years.
You got to have police presence. That's what the taxpayers are paying for. You have to have police present. And if there's not police present, it's a disaster. It's going to be a disaster.
Sources tell us 6 of the 7 other officers are leaving with him too. Some tell us it's just in time for violence to kick back up with the warmer weather.
And my grandbaby was out here coming up the street. Boom, 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 boom. 2 guys down the street. What if one of them bullets would have hit them? Girl, we ain't even begun the summer yet. So imagine when we get into summer.
This borough is no stranger to violent crimes. The cop cars even have bullet holes.
This is terrible. So now you're taking our cops away?
The big question from residents is why. I took that to borough leaders who only told me it was a personnel matter. In the meantime, the community will have to rely on state police for coverage as they fight council to reinstate the chief.
We just have to pray on it, Lord Jesus. Get them back in. Because we need them. We need them. And that state police, God love them, but they can't do nothing for us. If something happened, they too far away. Girl, they better get in, they better do something. This is ridiculous.
The chief's official contract is up at the end of June. Borough leaders tell me they won't be looking to hire a new chief. Rather, they'll look into regionalizing with East Pittsburgh and Rankin. Reporting in North Braddock, Nicole Ford, Channel 11 News. David, Lisa, 193 names are on the fallen officer memorial behind me. Later this year, 2 more will be added. But because of a heroic sacrifice, Chuck Thomas stood here today telling me he's thankful his name won't be the 3rd. 365 days, a whole year. Yet these moments that filled McKeesport streets live forever in Chuck Thomas's memory.
I got stuck, in that moment for this year, and it still feels like yesterday.
Bullets flew hitting Thomas.
I'm hit!
As he called out on the radio, another round of gunfire killed his partner, Officer Sean Slagansky.
I couldn't ask for a better partner that day. Sean, he didn't hesitate 1 minute.
While the holes have healed physically, emotionally, Thomas is still trying to cope.
I'm human just like anybody else. Just because I wear a badge or a uniform, grief, we all feel grief one way or the other.
The loss of a partner who left behind so much. A family, brothers in blue, a fiance, and a daughter just 1 year old.
That was the pride and joy of his life, his baby Haven. And unfortunately, she will know about her dad because nobody's going to ever let her forget. But to experience Sean is once in a lifetime opportunity. Just looking at the wall.
Standing on the North Shore at the Fallen Officer Memorial, marking 1 year since those 5 seconds that changed his life, he's thankful.
If it wasn't for Sean, again, my name would be on this wall. And I'm eternally grateful for his sacrifice. You know, your mind sometimes doesn't tell you that you deserve his sacrifice.
He asks why, yet no one person has that answer.
I'll never be able to move on. Never be able to move on.
So rather, he's working to move forward. Just a one-word difference, but a whole new perspective.
Sean will always be my hero, and I don't know, I can't ever repay him for what he's done for me, but what I can do is make sure that he's never forgotten in the law enforcement community.
As for his career as a police officer, that's a decision for another day, but a hope for the future.
Because ultimately, you can change your life or change the course of somebody else's life in less than 5 seconds, and you don't want to be the person to make the wrong decision.
And that sacrifice won't be forgotten. The community coming together tomorrow for 2 separate memorial events. The first one, a dedication in McKeesport, followed by a candlelight vigil in Slegansky's hometown of Baldwin. Reporting live on the North Shore tonight, Nicole Ford, Channel 11 News.